Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the February 1st, 2024 Police and Public Safety Committee meeting. I'm going to begin by taking attendance. I have Councilmember Brennan here, Supervisor Puccioni, myself, Lieutenant Todd Frenier, Town Attorney Finnan, Seth Goldstein, Confidential Secretary Aaron Cassidy-Dono. Welcome. Great. For operations. Our towing bid for 2024 is still ongoing. We'll have more details as we work through that process and we get that completed. Overnight parking enforcement. I put this back on the agenda. An email was recently sent out again through the town website regarding overnight parking enforcement. We are out ensuring that folks are in compliance with the town ordinance as we have snowy, wet weather during this time period. Again, that's from November through April that we have overnight parking enforcement from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. So please, please, please pull into your driveway. If there is some accommodation that you need us to make, please contact us in advance if something's going on. And that way we can potentially do a single night overlook if we need to help accommodate those things. Cops and Kids Reading Program. Glencliff was the host school for January and Craig is the host school for February. I have a post actually coming up on social media, hopefully by the end of today, about our Craig School event that we did. Sergeant Jeff Relation, who's in charge of the Traffic and Community Engagement Division, has been assisting with those and is doing an excellent job. We're getting great feedback about that. Fleet and equipment, we are still beginning the process to purchase 2 new patrol vehicles. We're working with Janet Wynn in the Comptroller's office because the process has changed regarding the mini bid process. And we're going to work through that. Lieutenant Frank is going to work through that with her to hopefully get these 2 new budgeted vehicles purchased here in the near future. We're currently outfitting the 2 detective vehicles. These are decommissioned patrol vehicles that we are now circulating into the detective division. We're working on that through our vendor, and hopefully we're going to get one of those back this week. Right?
This week, yeah.
Building still ongoing, the fencing and wall around the rear of MPD. I keep saying I'm going to leave this on probably through the spring until we get that completed. Training. Our department is completing a training unit on procedural justice for law enforcement through Police One Academy. That's still ongoing. Detective Munger and Officer Caminza will be attending Accident Investigator School from February 5th through the 9th and February 26th through March 1st. I didn't say this in the last meeting. We talked about this training. It's a multi-part school they have to attend. So there's a beginner, an intermediate, and advanced investigator school. So they're going to be fully certified on those when we complete the full rotation of those trainings. Sergeant Mara and Officer Breslin will be attending the use of force refresher training from February 5th through the 6th. Officers Powell and Thomason, I always pronounce it wrong, will be attending ARIDE, which is the Advanced Roadside Impaired Driving Enforcement, February 6th through February 7th. There's actually a secondary training we found out today in April, and we're going to be looking to send more officers to that as well, because it's our goal to have everybody trained in this to detect impairment on our roadways. Ongoing citizen correspondence. We're still talking about the stop sign from Mr. John Moak, Windsor Drive at Briar Ridge. That's something we're going to have to continue to discuss. Again, I mentioned in each meeting that we've talked about this. We don't usually take stop signs down, but I did mention it to Laura Robertson. She's going to look at it, town planner, and give us a recommendation on that. Mark Gibbons is requesting that we look into traffic cameras on Route 7. We talked about this in the last meeting. I'm only keeping this as ongoing because I need to do more research. I know some of the logistics, but I want to leave it on until we kind of come up with all the steps we would need to take to really approach this. We have ongoing things going on Route 7 with regards to grant applications. Our Traffic and Community Engagement Division has been heavily targeting Route 7. And I think we need to lead this on to also keep that as a part of that conversation with all those initiatives that we're doing. I didn't have any new correspondence. Town events, 3rd Tuesday of the month. I'm at the Senior Center for Coffee with the Cop. Please come join us if you would like. Target Coffee with the Cop, Friday the 16th of February from 12 to 2. Sergeant Relation will be there as part of our Community Engagement Division. So please come join him and come see us for a great conversation, great coffee from Starbucks. I didn't get anything from the town clerk. I just want to mention, I didn't realize Michelle wasn't going to be here. I was going to open a discussion about retention As a part of the accreditation process that we're going to talk about, that we're going to apply for later in the meeting, retention schedules and how we're sort of handling our internal files is one of the records maintenance policies. And myself and Chris O'Brien, our executive secretary, and Annette Baumbach, we met with the clerk's office regarding developing a better retention schedule specific to our agency or our department, if you will. And one of the things we talked about was moving away from having strictly paper copies of things to digitally storing them and what that would look like. And Michelle had mentioned the fact that it might need to go to town board resolution for us to accept the digital version versus the paper version as the original. I'm going to let her speak to that probably in the next meeting, but I want to put it on everybody's radar because we're running out of space and we need to make some changes with regards to those things.
Jordan, my understanding of that is that the town basically designate an official newspaper. They have to designate an official way of storing documents. As part of that, Michelle and I have been discussing space requirements and going forward. And, I know that you guys have started to scan some of your documents in, but I believe Michelle's going to be talking to Elena about getting a resolution on to get everything to go digital, to allow for us to have digital copies and get rid of the paper copies.
Okay. So, yeah, that's, like I said, we also had a company come in and give us some pricing on, I couldn't tell you how many boxes of incident reports over the past many decades that were at one time converted to microfiche.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to digitize those. So we had a company come in and give us an estimate on what that would cost. We estimated somewhere for just the boxes that we currently have scanned in the realm of $14,000 to $15,000.
Which I've asked all the other department heads, Michelle, to get me a list of what they had so I could get numbers so we could go for a grant, because there are many grants out there for converting from the old records, because the microfiche after about 20 years starts to degrade and then it starts breaking down and forming dust.
So maybe we all need to have a meeting with Michelle, because this is definitely a priority for me to get at least a resolution done so we can, as a go forward, start scanning today, even if we worry about the past and, as we go.
Yeah.
So, okay. School district bus patrol update. We're going to be having a press release coming out hopefully on Monday. The 5th of February is when the warning period is going to begin, and we anticipate the go live being March 7th. They are almost, my understanding is they're almost done installing on all the school buses. We have back-end access to the actual program to view the evidence package as they send it to us. The signs, according to bus patrol, have been already mapped out, and the company's going out, putting up the signs on the different entrance and exit points to the town. So we're moving in the right direction.
Would you say March 7th?
March 7th would be the actual beginning of notice of liabilities being issued.
What does the sign say? Coming in and out of town?
It's, have you ever driven the county and you see a road sign that has like a camera with a bus and it says, like bus stop enforcement, something like
Okay.
I
that?
think they have one on Plum Street right now.
Yeah.
I think I saw one up. It looked new.
They're out, they're putting signs up.
Yeah.
So
They.
there's a third party sign company that goes out and call in the different locations that's subcontracted by bus patrol. It's not an us thing. That's part of the package. So. Personnel, we're continuing to evaluate resumes. We just sent out 40 canvas letters for the list that we currently have, hopefully to put some new folks into the July Academy class. So hopefully we're gonna have some hirings coming up here soon. Under other, our department is looking to do the mandatory certification through DCGS. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me stop for a minute. We currently did the mandatory certification through DCGS. This was a part of the 2021 Professional Policing Act, whereby all the agencies in New York State have to meet two different standards, the hiring process standard and the misconduct standard, that also fall under the accreditation criteria. And if you don't meet those standards, they can actually decertify your agency from having a police agency. We did this last year. At that time, my understanding was it was every 5 years, but apparently that initial certification, because they didn't do an on-premise visit, was only good for a single year. So I met with them last week. We went through everything. We checked all the boxes. Anticipate in the March meeting that we get our mandatory certification again voted on and completed through the council. So that's great news. In conjunction with that, New York State DCGS Law Enforcement Agency Accreditation Program application. We are at a point where we need to apply for accreditation. This is the first step to open up dialogue between ourselves and the folks at the accreditation program to start real-time asking questions of our policies. We have policies in place and we're building procedures in place that are going to meet all of the standards, and I believe currently do, but there are proofs that have to be submitted in conjunction with those. And it's a little bit of a process, but this application process is the first step to opening up that dialogue, and you have a 5-year window to then reach accreditation with it. I don't anticipate it taking us 5 years in any way, shape, or form, but this is a great thing for us because I think we're there. I think we're at that point where we can definitely apply and we can start working through this process and hopefully do this. It's one of our goals for the department by the end of this year. So I'm excited about that. Also under other, our Stop DWI grant is an annual thing that Santee County, we work with their Stop DWI coordinator. And this year we're looking to be awarded $9,750 for regular patrols for DWIs and $3,500 for it's their high intensity engagement campaigns that we do around particular holidays and things of that nature. And then lastly, under other, I have a Civilian Police Academy update. It's currently posted. We had sent out a survey in conjunction with the rest of Santee County agencies. We got some good feedback. We now have it online. You can go to our town, Niskuna PBA, Town of Niskuna Facebook page, and we have posted that up there for the applications. They're due by February 7th. All the other agencies have also posted and sent out information regarding this. But when was the anticipated date for it to actually begin?
March 5th.
For March 5th.
Yep. It's a 6-week program, 1 day a week for 3 hours, from 6 to 9 p.m. And the graduation would be a 7th day at April, so or a date in April. And they're looking to have agency representatives teaching specific blocks. Most of it's probably going to be held at the police academy, but it's a way to get the civilians involved and kind of build some bridges and have the community come out and kind of see what we do and take part in it. So
it's going to be
It's
very
exciting.
cool. We're going to do ride-alongs. They're going to visit the different agencies
yes,
to see their police departments. There's going to be defensive tactics. There's going to be handcuffing. There's going to be legal perspectives. There's going to be a history of local policing involved, which apparently I may be presenting.
you may.
So there's going to be a lot of good stuff as a part of this. So I highly encourage anybody that's interested, please fill out an application. There is a background check that's done in conjunction with this through Schenectady Police Department. So just be cognizant of that as well. And that's all I have. Does anybody have anything else worth forgetting or anything we need to add? And then just under resolutions, again, our DCGS Law Enforcement Agency Accreditation Program application, which I have to sign and the town supervisor has to sign. And then the Stop DWI grant accepting those funds. And that's all I have. Do I have a motion to adjourn? And do I have a second?
Okay.
All those in favor? Any opposed? And with that, we will conclude this meeting. 3:46. We will see you again March 7th.
Thank you, everyone.